Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Diary of an Epileptic. Today I'm going to tell you the story about a man who was having a seizure and police and paramedics actions that were horrifically unjust and should have never happened if they had proper training on epileptic people and what to do if someone's having a seizure. The gentleman's name is Marcus Charles, and his story starts on October 2nd, 2022, when he was working at a tire shop in Hamilton, Ontario, in Canada. He grew up having epilepsy, and everyone around him knew that he had epilepsy, and so did his coworkers. So on that day, on October 2nd, he had a seizure, and a coworker called 911 in hopes that they would respond properly to Marcus having the seizure, but sadly, that's not the case. He was accused of being violent while he was having the seizure, and instead of helping him, they called police saying that he was being violent and they needed some assistance. Police came on scene. They had the same thought as paramedics, and they tased him, they pinned him, they restrained him, which is a big no-no. You never restrain someone. When you never do. Never. Never. And employees of the tire shop are telling paramedics and police, like, no, he's having a seizure. He's not being violent at all. But those words were disregarded to paramedics and police, and while police were still unjustly, tasing, restraining him, not with no consideration of what everyone else was saying around them. And there is a video of this interaction between Marcus and police, and I'm not going to do an audio video. I'm not going to share the video on here. What I'll do is I'll put the link to the video on the description notes. It is very disgusting of police actions. It's horrific. Marcus should have never endured that. So if anyone does watch it, viewer discretion is advised. Then he was later sent to the hospital when they finally realized he needed to go to the hospital, because God forbid, behind all the corrupt and brutality we're giving this guy, you're like, okay, we'll decide to be nice and take him to the hospital, which he should have been taken to the hospital in the beginning. Marcus wakes up at the hospital, dazed and confused of how he got from his job to hospital, which, if anyone's ever had a seizure, we're all dazed and confused afterwards, and we're trying to figure out what happened. Well, instead of someone telling him he had a seizure, there was a police officer serving him papers saying he's being charged with assault. I can't even only imagine Marcus's reaction and face of confusion when this police officer is telling him this. And the only way he was going to be released from the hospital, according to the police officer, was if he signed that paper agreeing to be charged with assault. This does not go well with anyone, which it should have never. And sadly, in America, we are very familiar with police brutality, especially towards African American men, and that topic needs to be discussed more. We do have to do better. Police, there needs to be proper training for those. But that would be a different topic for a different day. Going on with Marcus's story, after he was finally released from the hospital, there's a bunch of support within the community saying that he should have never been charged. Police's actions were not right, and epilepsy groups like the Epilepsy Foundation were brought in to address the situation and come up with a law and trainings that police officers would need to take, and paramedics as well, going forward when responding to someone that's having a seizure. At this time, Canadian Epilepsy Alliance has a petition out for enforcing a law, making sure there is no other Marcus Charles. At this time, they need 5,000 signatures in order for it to go to the local news. Right now, they have only over 3,600. We, as not only Canadians but Americans as well, we any way we can help by signing the signature, and hopefully with his story going forward all over nationwide, they'll understand that there needs to be more training and better responses to someone that's having a seizure. And for Marcus Charles, I am so sorry what you went through. I hope that you get the justice you serve, and you did not deserve this. And Canadian Epilepsy Foundation for telling me the story once again. I'm grateful for telling me, and I thank you so much for giving me the chance to tell his story. I wanted to tell more from when he was a child to before October 2nd, 2022, but I could not find much online. All the source material I used for this episode will be on the show notes, and as well as on the podcast next day on Anchor and Spotify. And, of course, I thank you so much for listening, and hopefully, the Canadian Epilepsy Alliance gets the 5,000 signatures they need to move forward with the story and getting getting this law or laws passed. Of course, follow me on Instagram at Diary of an Epileptic, and have a Snapchat of Diary OA Epilepsy. I thank everyone so much for listening, and my condolences of this happening to you, Marcus, and hope you can thrive forward from this and get the justice you deserve, and wishing those for not only him but his family as well, and hope you guys have a fantastic day now.